Right everyone, welcome to this video. This is the first in a series of videos I'm going to be doing. These are all going to be for my new website, DannyMitchellMMA.com. So on there I've got lots of instructional stuff, lots of teaching techniques, but I want a little bit more on there. I want something a little bit different to your sort of normal instructional site. So just a little bit of background before we start on this video. When I was first getting into MMA, when I was first learning the rope, so to speak, I was a big fan of Baz Rutten. He had, for those of you who've ever done the Baz Rutten workout, it were these tapes that we used to have, and he used to shout combinations. You'd throw the combinations, and it was like a way you could train at home. And I remember training for a K1 fight, and I actually used the Baz Rutten workout to prepare for a fight. So yeah, pretty cool back in the day. Again, we didn't have a lot of the stuff we have now, with the good gyms, the good coaching. It was kind of, everyone was just figuring their own thing out. So but what Baz Rutten did is he had a set of videos which I managed to get hold of when I was younger. I might have been about 18 when I watched these, and he has his entire fight career. Every single fight, I think there's about 30 fights on there. And what he does is he commentates his own fight. So as the fight's progressing, he's telling you, right, at this time, this is what I'm looking to do. This is what I'm setting up. Even giving you background, what was happening before the fight. Coming into this fight, whatever had just happened. Yeah. So that's what I want to do really. And I think that I learned so much from watching them videos that helped me, because I was basically my own coach. I've never had a head coach. I've trained with lots of different coaches, and I've learned so much from lots of different people. But in terms of who was managing my career and who did I answer to, it was just me. I was my own head coach. So I made a lot of mistakes. I did a lot of good stuff as well. So the idea with these videos is, and my entire website, the idea behind it all is that I'm teaching from my experience, from my mistakes, and from my success as well. So this is, again, the first one in a series. This is my fight against CJ Meeks, Bellator 158, and yeah, I'm gonna talk through it. I'll probably stop the video at certain points and rewind, and we'll watch certain things. We'll look at some things I did right, some things I did wrong, and just talk about the whole background of what was happening in the fight. And hopefully you see some value in this, you learn from it. And I'm going to be putting lots of my old fights on my website, and I may even start to look at other people's fights, where I think there's certain lessons that could be learned, from a different fight. I'll be putting that on. So yeah, I'll stop talking bollocks now. We'll get into it. So again, this is my Bellator fight, Bellator 158. So I believe this was in London, and I'm fighting here CJ Meeks. I'll turn the volume up a little bit, but I don't want the sound from the fight to be too loud. So yeah, so CJ Meeks, he was from a really good gym. I think he had Kieran Kettle and Brad Pickett in his corner. So obviously Brad's a legend, very good, experienced MMA guy. Kieran, really good Thai boxer, produced loads of really good high-level Thai boxers. So I knew that CJ was a good striker. I knew that he'd want to keep the fight on the feet. So yeah, my plan was to take him down at some point. I knew he'd be throwing a lot of low kicks, and he'd be trying to chop that lead leg. So I'd been working on just my timing. I actually trained for this fight in Las Vegas. It was the IMAF Amateur Championships, and I had a few fighters on there. One of those fighters, Ash Roden, is actually in my corner for this fight. So yeah, I trained in Vegas. Look at that. He's had a lot less fights than me, but he's got a massive reach advantage there. So here we go. Fight starts. He's orthodox. I know he's going to be setting up that right low kick. I'm just keeping my hands nice and high. There's his first one. So I'm just trying to use the jab, and I know that low kick is gonna keep throwing it. So there it is, and I get an easy takedown. I run him straight into his guard. I wasn't too worried about, you know, if he was a really good grappler, I would have avoided going into his guard. But I just took the easy takedown. Here I'm using the can opener. This is classic GSP, ground and pound, can opener to elbow. See how I'm trying to keep my hands on the inside. See my hand touch the mat there. So let's just go back a little bit. So watch, I'm on the can opener at elbow. Watch where my hands are. Okay, I need to keep my hands on him. As soon as my hand goes to the mat, if you watch my right hand, it touches the mat for a second, and I bring it straight back inside. I'm always looking for that inside position. So I want either a bicep control or I want that can opener. Got to be careful here because his legs are coming up high. But I knew his jiu-jitsu was nowhere near on my level, so as long as I kept sort of pretty tight, I knew I'd be good. Again, my hand's on the outside there, so I need to try and get that hand back inside. See, now I've given him the overhook, so that's what I didn't want to happen. I didn't want him to have that overhook, so I need to get that arm back. So I stack him, stick my head in his chin, get a bit of pressure, and see how I'm trying to limp arm that right arm out, landing some nice elbows. But I see this a lot in MMA. It's a big mistake when you're in the guard. People, you let them control your arms. He jumped triangle there, and I landed. I made him pay for that with a few big hammer fists. See how he's holding the head, and I strip again. Really important. Let's just watch that again. So he's thrown the triangle, hit him with a few shots, and again, this is something that people miss, yeah? When someone's holding your head, they try and punch. Just grab the wrist, shrug it off, then you can start again. Look, I'm looking for that can opener again. Again, looking for that hands inside position. Landing some ground and pound, and he pushes away, but I managed to run him down to the cage. We're against the cage now, and I'm trying to pin him. So, in this position, I've got my hips pretty high here, and I'm trying to keep my head over his. He does a good job, look, of getting up, and I didn't respect his grappling enough in that scenario, and he got the nice Uchimata judo style takedown there. So let's just watch that again. So my mistake is I'm keeping my head low, my hips high, and that allowed him to be able to build his base and come up and get that. I managed to easily recover guard. I wasn't worried in this position. I knew that if he stayed in my guard, I'd be able to submit him. Like, I feel super confident in this position. He's trying to land the elbow there. I'm just keeping him nice and tight. And yeah, again, he's on top, but I felt super confident. His corner were telling him to stand up. So yeah, back to his feet. And I think that was a mistake, because he just gives me such an easy takedown there. Like, that was super easy. I just ran into him and he just crumbled. He should have just rode that round out and been really negative on top in the guard. So I'm taking my time here, just chipping away with little shots. What I really wanted is I wanted the twister. I'm on a big show here, and I'd said to people before, if I can get on, I'm going to twister this guy, and all I wanted was his back. So when I'm in this position, I'm chipping away. I'm keeping my head above his there. All I want is his back. So here what I do is I start, I'm looking for a guillotine, but I knew the guillotine wasn't there. So I'm just holding his head, and yeah, he knows the guillotine's there as well. He's not giving me it. And watch what I do with my arm. I put it under his armpit, and that gives me the back take. this is something that I teach a lot. So if you've trained with me, you might have seen me teach this. This is something I learned from watching Eddie Bravo. So he calls it the 100%. So you go under the arm lock. But I'll just pause for a second here. Let's see if I can get a bit of a better angle. So see how this arm is locked under his arm. I can step round now and put this lead hook in. That's a really, really bad picture. But again, so just try and see what I do with this arm here. So I'm going to put it, that left arm is going to go under his armpit, and I'll lock, and now I can step behind him. He's going to pull his arm out because it starts to neck crank you a little bit. That gives me that first hook, and I've got this far side underhook, if you like. He tries to turn out, but I've got that bottom hook, and I've got the opposite side. So if I've got this, see, I've got this left, I've got his left leg tied up in almost a lockdown position, and I've got the opposite armpit, so I've got his right arm tied up. If I had his left leg and his left arm, he'd be able to turn. So I control opposite sides, yeah? So I've got his left leg. So if you've only got one hook in on the back, if you've only got that left side trapped, control their right arm. This is a nice little lesson here. If you control their right arm, they can't turn out. And at this point, I knew, and my cornerman knew, the fight was done. This is my position right here. So look what I do. I reach and I try and split his legs. Okay, so again, the picture is terrible. But I fake like I'm splitting the legs, and what I want is his arm, his right arm there, see how it's behind my back. That's what I want. So let's look at that sequence again. So he starts trying to turn. I'm controlling his left leg and his right arm. Then I'm going to try and grab his leg and try and split him. That is going to open. See how his right arm there goes behind my back? That's all I want. Once the arm's behind my back, then it's done. I grab his head, lock, and twist. There's the tap. That is the first and only twister submission in Bellator. So let's just watch that little sequence again. So it all came from, like, he backed out of my guard. He gave me an easy takedown. Okay, and I was just chipping away. I'm in his half guard here, just chipping away, keeping it nice and simple. I don't want him to get back up again, so I'm keeping a little bit more pressure, trying to keep him flat. I allowed him to sit up on that last one where he got up, so I'm keeping him flat. He tries to sit up again, so he's going to do the same as he did before. See, I'm keeping my head on his shoulder, then I look for the guillotine, and I'm just sagging my weight on his head. And I'm going to put my left arm, so I go from the guillotine look, and I put my left arm under his armpit, and I'm going to lock my hands together. So there I make the transition. Watch his arm, he has to pull his arm out. Boom, that gives me his back. So I've got left hook controlled, and I've got the right armpit controlled. He tries to spin out, but I can easily follow him when I've got that control. I triangle that bottom leg. I attack for the banana split there. He puts his arm behind my back. That's his mistake, so watch that again. So watch when I go for the leg here. So I'm going to grab his right leg. Watch what he does with his arm. He puts it behind my back. That opens his head up. Again, the angle's not brilliant, but that gives me his head. I grab, his bottom leg's locked. Look at that position. His bottom leg is locked down. Look at where his hips are facing. His hips are almost facing the mat. They're facing like outside of the cage, almost facing the mat. His head is facing me. So his spine is doing a full like 180 here. And then I just crank it. He taps on my head. And that is all she wrote. So yeah, that was the Bellator fight, first round twister finish. I'm pretty happy right now. So again, I trained in Las Vegas for this fight because I was out there with some amateurs fighting, and my dad as well. I think this was a year. Was this 2015? I think this was 2015. So it was the year after I'd been in the UFC, and my dad had died the year before as well. When I was in the UFC, my dad passed away. So I had a fight in the same arena for the UFC. I lost a decision, and my dad got to see that. But then I came back. So same arena, managed to get the win. So yeah, that was kind of. I did a little post-fight interview saying, yeah, that I was happy. I really wanted this win, sort of for my dad, kind of thing. He wasn't there to watch this one. He passed away, but yeah, it was nice to get that win. There's Brad Pickett, Kieran Kedle, saying, what the fuck did Danny just do? We didn't prepare for that. But yeah, I told everyone I was gonna twister him, and yeah, that's what I did. So yeah, this was a great fight. Pretty quick, short fight, but a few lessons to be learnt there. He's not happy, look, and that's it. So if you like this little breakdown I did, obviously this is a quick fight, so there's not a lot of stuff to break down in there. This is just a little test. But if you like it, let me know what you think, and I'm going to be posting lots more of these fights, possibly other people's fights as well that I'm going to break down. These are all going to be on my website, DannyMitchellMMA.com. Thank you, and I will see you soon.